The Democrats' Ford about to break down in the Senate? Just wait and see. What these Blasey Ford Judge Kavanaugh hearings really mean, coming up next on Deceptions of the Ages News. Hello everybody and welcome to Deceptions of the Ages News. Let's just get the most important stuff out of the way first, and that is subscriptions going through the roof. Thank you everybody. I would like to send a few shouts out to some of the people that have subscribed. One of the person, she likes to spend her time on the beach. Her name is Sandy, and I'd like to say hello to you, Sandy. Another guy works at 7-Eleven in an inner city area. His name is Rob, so I'd like to send hello out to you, Rob. All right, and I hope they don't actually do that to you. So yeah, thanks for subscribing, and now let's talk about the subject of the day, and that is the Judge Kavanaugh and Blasey Ford hearings. Now, the first thing that I want to put out and tell you is that this in itself is a very serious issue, not the way that these lower intellectual people are handling this, but this is a very serious issue. And the rights of a woman and her ability to protect herself are sacred. And I've been in a lot of cultures, like in the Middle East, where women have no rights, and it's expected that if they go out, that they'll be raped. So, I mean, what kind of culture does that? But that's what we really are looking at here. And we have to respect the sanctity of our mothers, our daughters, our sisters, everybody, because that's what they really are. And unfortunately, what's at issue here are two things. Number one is our horrible culture where in the media, music, everything, it's all about sex and it's all about degrading women. And, you know, nobody's going to argue with me on that one. And especially in certain types of music where women are called whores and bitches and whatever else. And it's perfectly okay. But when it starts to involve, people where there's money involved and lawyers involved, then the tables are turned. And that's exactly what has happened in the situation with Judge Kavanaugh. Now, the other issue that is at stake here is this thing about all of this harassment that started back with, they're talking about Judge Clarence Thomas. And then there was, what was his name? The guy from Oregon. Anyway, but there was just a constant stream. And now it's just, they've opened the floodgates because, oh, well, yes, they were sexually harassing people in Hollywood. This has been going on since the 1930s and, well, actually since Hollywood began. Everybody's known about it, but somehow now it's an issue with which to destroy people's careers when these women that are making these allegations all put themselves into a situation where, you know, they could have been taken advantage of, and in a culture where that was perfectly accepted. All right, so these are the things that we're talking about now, is the society, the pervasiveness of sex, of reducing women to basically just sex objects. And you just walk down the street and you see all these girls there, they got everything showing out and they've got the yoga pants on but when somebody that they don't like says something or does something or looks at them the wrong way, especially if that person has money, well, then the tables are turned. And so these are some very serious issues. But what has happened now, and that people don't really understand with these Judge Kavanaugh hearings, is that somehow, maybe it was the intelligence community, the deep state apparatus, who knows what it was. Maybe Trump just got them big time. Maybe he trolled them. Finally, we have somebody coming forth after Bill Cosby just got 3 to 10 years I mean, he was obviously just twisted, and he was a sick person. But again, why are these women, you know, these allegations are out there? Why do these women put themselves into compromising situations? And so now when we have this Judge Kavanaugh situation, what we're looking at is suddenly, and this came out on Fox News last night, that this the person who was actually supposed to be Kavanaugh came forward and said it wasn't him, it was me in that situation. And so suddenly this woman's story has completely just blown apart. And right now they're having Senate hearings about this, and nobody's saying anything about it. Why? Because what they're going to do is they're going to build this up, because this has been a long time coming. These allegations of sexual harassment, sexual misconduct, whatever, basically it is a biological issue and it is a cultural issue. And until we address that and look at this as adults, this is just going to be a way for lawyers to get more and more money, and for you to lose political power, and for people to destroy your life. So, of course, that is also taken with the fact that you better respect women. You better, you know, no is no, and you have to remember that. And, you know, anyway, I'm not even going to get into that, but no is no, and you have to always remember that. Okay, so now we have this issue where we have this Ford, who is really living up to her name, because she is going to break down during the testimony, and she didn't want to testify in the first place before Congress because, as everybody knows, she's lying. And now that this guy has come forward and said it wasn't this Kavanaugh, it was me that did this, then and then all of these other women that have come forward with some pretty bizarre stories, they are just going to be thrown out of the, you know, thrown out with the dishwater, the bathwater, whatever. But the issue here is, what are the Democrats trying to do? They don't care if these women are believable, if their story holds up, if there is any truth to this. The Democrats feast upon lies. They just want to muddy the media. They want to muddy your conscience, your intellect, the intellect of everybody with lies. So there's nothing true, that you can't believe anything, right? So this is what the Democrats are trying to do. And the problem is that now that they've picked this horrible, you know, spokesperson for their lies, the lies are just about ready to fall down. And so what they're going to do is they're going to basically throw this woman under the bus, and the Republicans are going to go after her. And she is going to be the catchword for the new, what do you call it? We're going to call it, I guess we're going to call it the anti-feminism movement, because quite frankly, these lawsuits for sexual harassment, etc., are costing American industry too much money. And what's really at stake here is they are going to put an end to these. So this is something that, you know, nobody really understands right now, but this is why you watch Deceptions of the Ages News and you subscribe to these videos, so that I can explain this to you in a better way. But this is what is actually happening. This is, again, it is a cultural issue. It is a biological issue. It is something that boys, apparently, in some cultures, in some households, in some whatever, are told that women are just there to be abused and raped. And unfortunately, those cultures live in America. And these cultures are not pointed out, but when other cultures, when somebody accuses them of behaving the same way because they have a certain political tint to them, a certain religious tint to them, then the Democrats are going to try to just nail them to the wall. But what you're going to see here is you're going to probably see the reverse. Brett Kavanaugh is going to be confirmed on the Supreme Court. Now, what do you think is going to happen to all of these cases where women come forward with no evidence whatsoever except for hearsay, him and me, and no physical evidence, and it's years later they're going to throw them out? And I would bet you money that they are going to open this up for civil lawsuits against these people. Why? Because they've taken it too far, and they have taken something that, you know, a woman's right to her body is sacred, and they have taken this and they have blown this into a political joke. And they have no concern about this woman's rights. They want to make sure that every disgusting, filthy thing is brought forward, because the Democrats think that with their lies, with so many lies, that nobody would ever nominate this guy, Brett Kavanaugh, whether or not this is true or not. So this is what the Democrats are trying to bring into our world, is a world where you are just surrounded by lies, and it doesn't matter if they're true or not, if they want to destroy you, so you better shut your mouth. And this is the same thing that happened with the Nazis in Germany. It's the same thing that happened in China, or is happening in China now and has been happening for some time. It's the same thing that happened in Russia. It's the same thing that happens in any totalitarian state. They want to use these lies. They want to scare you. They want to terrify you. It doesn't matter if what you do is good or not. And remember, Stalin, he killed, right before World War II, he killed thousands of his top generals. Thousands. They were all doing good for him and the Soviet Union, and he just said, nope, I don't think so, and he killed them. So this is what we really have to worry about with these Democrats, because they are insane. And the woman leading the charge here had a Chinese spy in her cabinet or in her office for 20 years, and not one person is saying anything about that. So where do you think these people are trying to take us? All right, well, I think that is a lot to swallow for one day, and I'm just going to let you swallow that, stew on it, digest it, and we will see you next time on Deceptions of the Ages News. Hello everybody, and thanks for sticking around. Now, I know that you stuck around because you enjoyed the video and it really hit something within you, and you would like to see more material like this. Well, if that's the case, then I would like to ask you to consider subscribing to me on my Patreon account. Now, I will leave a link in the description below, and you don't have to pledge that much, maybe just $1, $2, or $3 a month, but I not only make videos, but I'm also an author. I have 5 great books that are available at hindsight.com. So if you would like to consider supporting me in that respect, then not only would you be supporting me, but you'd also be getting some awesome books. And what I would like to do eventually is be one of the greatest authors in the United States. But I'm competing with major publishers, and it's very difficult, and you have to have money to do that in order to be able to produce more material. So I have many books in the works, but I just don't have the funding, and if I don't have funding, then I have to go back and find some other way to bring in money. So please consider a donation to my Patreon account, or just go ahead and buy a couple of my great books. You'll love them, and I'm sure you'll come back to buy the rest of the collection. I'm Matthew Hines. Thank you for your donation.